I think what you have to understand about the Muppets and people who love the Muppets is we're all theater kid weirdos. Graeme McMillan, light of my life.
What an introduction. Thank you.
My work wife here in the Popverse. We're here this week celebrating all things love. And so I had nobody better to invite on than you, as we are going to discuss what I think is one of the most iconic couples in all of pop culture. Now,
okay, so here's my question. Am I the Kermit to your Miss Piggy, or am I the Miss Piggy to your Kermit?
No, you're definitely the Kermit. You are the stressed out stage man. Look, you've even got the headset, trying to run around and keep the ship afloat. And I'm the one who's like, maybe I'll hit somebody. You know what I mean? That's the energy we give here, folks.
that weirdly defines almost every relationship in my life. So I agree. I approve of that.
So I've come out with a big swing here, and I said they are one of the most iconic couples in pop culture. So I'm going to lob it to you and say true, false. Do they stand next to Lois and Clark?
Yes,
in terms of their iconography?
I was thinking just before we came on, we were having a conversation in the collective Popverse think tank this week about Kermit and Miss Piggy, and it was brought up that they are canonically split.
Yeah,
they canonically split up, and there's something so atomic level wrong about that I think speaks to how iconic they are. That it's like, it's Kermit. Of course they are. Like, they can have fights, they can have tips, they can, but you don't really split them up the same way that you don't split Superman and Lois Lane up. This way you don't split like Nick and Nora Charles up. There's couples that exist as a couple, right? And the push and pull is part of that. Not even will they, won't they, but like the bickering is part of that. But they're together. And so, yeah, no, 100%. They are one of the greatest pop culture couples ever created. Yes.
So do you remember before the last show came out where they were doing the late night talk show?
Yes.
As part of the pre-launch campaign, there was a press release that Kermit and Miss Piggy were no longer together. And that was like a huge part of the marketing campaign. And I remember being a fully grown woman and being like, absolutely not. Headcanon not accepted.
No, but that's just like,
I don't accept this reality.
Headcanon, they are definitely together. Even now, they're definitely together. Even though we have now had 2 Muppet shows where they are split up.
And a Muppet movie where he flees their wedding.
That, weirdly enough, I still was like, but they got back together after that. Because of course they do. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's Kermit and Miss Piggy are... I genuinely dread to think what it says about me, but they are such a great couple.
I think whether or not you are like all in on them probably depends on when you came to Muppets and how influential the Muppet shows versus the Muppet movies are to you. Because
I was first wave. I'm old enough to have watched.
Okay, I get it. You're better than us.
I'm older than you. That's about it. No, I remember watching the Muppet Show when I was a kid, like the original Muppet Show.
Do you know when Miss Piggy first appears in the Muppet Show? Because she appears, it's either the first or the second episode. There is a chorus of pigs who are singing, and Kermit is directing them before they go on stage. I think they're doing a dress rehearsal. And she's like, Kermit, it's time for my solo, right? And he's like, yes, of course. And then I just think that performance was so funny. They spun her off, and people are like, Kermit enabled Miss Piggy and is the reason why she is a monster. Complimentary.
Okay, I have a weird question about Kermit and Miss Piggy.
Sure.
I think they're an amazing couple. I think they're a great double act. I think that Miss Piggy genuinely does have all the star power. I think that Kermit is very much a supporting player and not an equal player in their relationship.
So I agree. And I think this was sort of a strange thing that the previous most recent reboot did with the late night talk show, because Kermit in the Muppet Show is both the host and the stage manager, but his presence is more strongly felt as the person wrangling all of these creative weirdos. And I do think that is where his great strength comes from, and the comedy of their relationship, because Piggy wants to be a delusional star. Like, if she was born now, she would be a TikTok girly. And Kermit would be the person running her account. You know what I mean?
Like that, and that's the dynamic that works, right?
Yeah.
It's the relationship, the romantic relationship is almost secondary to the completely delusional power struggle, which honestly is all the way through the Muppets. There's lots of Muppet
Mhm.
relationships where someone thinks they are on top and really they are not, right?
Oh,
Where,
like Fozzie Bear,
like,
yeah.
no, exactly. Like there's so many Muppet relationships, Sesame Street relationships as well,
Yeah.
where the comedy comes from they think they're the boss, but really the other person is the one making it all happen. And that's Kermit and Miss Piggy 100%.
Well, to quote the great Janelle Brown from the iconic franchise Sister Wives, "You give power to get power." And I actually think Kermit and Piggy are the clearest example of this because, to reference something that I've also said in sort of our Popverse think tank discussions about Muppets, while the Muppets are child friendly, they were never for children. That is what Sesame Street does, and
Yes.
Kermit and the Muppet Show are always interested in addressing much more adult things. And I actually think Piggy and Kermit are a closer pop culture example of how real relationships function than perhaps Lois and Clark or Peter and
Oh
Mary
no,
Jane.
no, 100%. Because I say this as someone who loves Superman and Lois
Yeah.
a lot, like genuinely far too much for any grown human being. It's entirely unrealistic, right?
Yeah.
They have an entirely unrealistic relationship where even a moment's thought, you're like, this would never work, and B, like, what do they actually even see in each other? How do they function as a relationship? Kermit and Miss Piggy, again,
Couples
I've been
goals?
in well, no, because I've been in relationships like that, and they were like not exactly healthy. But as something to watch, as something to find comedy in, 100%, it's sitcom gold because it is like Piggy's utter delusion and Kermit's enabling of
Long-suffering
Piggy.
steadfastness. Yeah.
But like long suffering enabling her through the whole thing is what makes them such a great couple. Like you don't, they're not couples goals because you don't want to be in that relationship, right?
But you're rooting for them.
You're 100% rooting for them to the point where even after they've split up for it's been 10 years since they split up.
We're very young, 21 and 25.
I know, but I'm still like, they've not really split up. Like
No.
they've got to be together forever. But again, I don't want to be Kermit or Miss Piggy in that relationship. Like neither of those are actually goals.
I have a very important final question for you, Graeme, and that is, in some realities, because obviously the Muppet extended universe and multiverse
the
timeline
multiverse,
is
yes.
like talking about convergences and crises on infinite Muppets. In some of their universes, we get little flash forwards and we see Kermit and Piggy's children, and they are almost always represented as being green pigs and pink frogs.
Yes.
I hate those creepy little babies. I find them off-putting, and I do not care for them.
So the Muppet Christmas Carol, they have three children.
In the Muppet Christmas Carol, they're not cross colors though.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
it's girl pigs and boy frogs,
and then also Robin, who is canonically Kermit's nephew, is Tiny Tim.
I know, but like he's always been the nephew.
I hate Robin.
I know, but Kermit, like Robin is a we all know what's really going on with Robin, right?
Yes.
But that's the thing though. Kermit and Miss Piggy having children in general.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, like, I don't even mean the sense of like pigs and frogs. How does that work? Just in the sense of like they again, in the same way they're not couples goals, they're not parents. Imagine the offspring of Kermit and Miss Piggy. No, the reason they are such iconic characters and such an iconic relationship is again, in no way are they examples of what we should be or what we should want for anyone. The children of them would be the most messed up poor little kids in the world. You know, give us a Muppet Show set 30 years in the future and the children are growing up and are in therapy and we can have some sort of weird, like Larry David-esque sitcom about that. But yeah, no, I do not want them to have kids at all. That's wrong. And honestly, it's not even the coloring. No, I just don't want them to have kids. The kids will be so messed up. No, they cannot. I'm sorry, Muppet fans, and for that matter, Muppets, they should not procreate.
Do you know? I heard this recently, and it didn't occur to me that people didn't know that. Do you know what the word Muppet comes from? Do you know what it's a mashup of?
puppet and something.
Homer.
I
So
don't know.
Homer Simpson has this famous quote. It's not correct, but he goes, "Well, it's not quite a mop, and it's not quite a Muppet, but oh boy." So to answer your question, I have no idea. Is what he says. It's a mixture of marionette and puppets.
Really?
Yeah.
That's, I love your awareness of all things Muppet.
Yeah.
I feel it as much as, again, I grew up with Muppets, so I'm completely biased. I watched the original show, I watched the movies, like all of that. I have the weird nostalgia. Your love for Muppets goes way beyond that, and you didn't even like suffer through the original.
Well, I think what you have to understand about the Muppets and people who love the Muppets is we're all theater kid weirdos, and
So are they, though, to be fair.
when you watch the pilot of the Muppet Show, their guest is Mummenschanz, which is a German mask movement dance company. So it's so like that is what the Muppets came out. And when you understand that, I feel like you understand so much more about Muppet fans.
I was gonna say, I think I feel so much more. I understand so much more about you. In
Yeah.
You're like, let me tell you who the first one was.
Yeah.
It's experiments with German theater.
Oh, and Loretta Swit is the guest in episode 3. Mash's Zone. We stand. Graeme, you and I haven't done this in a little while. It's our first time getting together to chat this year. So I want to close out by asking you I got very Canadian when I just said out right there. Out and about. I want to ask you the classic Popverse question. What are you geeking out about that you're not working on? No Muppet answers.
I have been reading the Superman Triangle era omnibuses. I grew up is strong. In my teens, I was reading Superman comics when they were like, basically weekly comics. And they're now coming out in really expensive, big, heavy collections. And I am just reading through and being like, I remember I was 15 when this came out. I'm just about to get to the part where he dies, and part of me is like, I don't care if Superman dies. He's the most boring part of all these comics. Give me the soap opera of everyone else. Give me the soap opera of every other character in this. Kill Superman, fine. Just let me know what's going to happen with Jeb Friedman, the strike organizer. I mean, some of the supporting characters are wild. Yeah, I'm geeking out on my nostalgia.
Somewhere Dan Jurgens is like, you're welcome.
Exactly. Dan Jurgens and Jerry Ordway are like, you don't even know what we were doing in those books. I do, and I love it. I love it.
Graeme, I know your answer also, but I love to ask you this. Where can people find you all over the internet?
You can find me in the Popverse because I'm really not on social media that much anymore. So yeah, find me on Popverse. That's it. I'm there. I live there. I that's it. That's all I do now. I exist in Popverse.
Thank you for coming and talking about Muppets with me today.
Thank you for talking about Muppets with me. It's a joy.